Hey all, so War is back. Super happy about that. As I keep saying, it's my favorite game mode. It's a big part of the reason why I am still playing. Um, it was a little tricky to plan this one, still shaking off some rust. And bans make everything more complicated, but ultimately, I feel like we arrived at a good plan, and my fights especially, I felt pretty good about except potentially the boss. This first one I just let start in the background because honestly, it's such a nothing at this point for Reed. I mean, when it had the aggression fury, it could potentially get worse, but it's a stunnable dragon man. We start blunting both his power gain and any mystic dispersion that we might trigger by 40% already. Now we're up to 80%. He's gaining very little power because of now 50% suppression, plus if I'm hitting him while stunned, he's gaining 30% less on top of that from the Petrify Mastery. I do kind of mess up right there. I miss the evade and then don't fully adapt. Or sorry, I miss the parry and then don't fully adapt to the evades. But it doesn't matter. We have completely shut Dragon Man down. At this point, I switch to special ones rather than go for another special two. There I miss another parry. Super fun. But I switched to special ones to just try and make sure that I had as many debuffs as possible, but, then I got backed up because I had gotten hit, switched to the special 2 to end it. It is what it is, I'll have more chances to ramp him later. But yeah, just incredibly easy fight for Reed. As you can see, even when I did get hit, he wasn't critting me much. Dragon Man doesn't crit much in general, but then Reed being rank 4 means that I had the challenge rating advantage, and so it just makes it that much easier, and he has the resistance for non-crits. So Doom versus Korg, as you can see, as you've probably known, Doom just kind of takes away most of the challenge here. He has power control, so you don't need to worry about pushing Korg red on any node if he starts being, stingy. This was also power focus 2, so I could freely hit into him once he got to 2 bars, not really worry. You don't want to hit into his block too much because it'll make the special one unblockable, and so I didn't even mean to do that one. But we can otherwise hit into him freely because Doom's energy hits do not trigger his thorns. And so no damage back from any of our basics. We do plenty of damage on the special 3 because we get that big fury up. We've made sure to take his rock shield down so he doesn't blunt the damage of the special 3. I mean, I'm taking some block damage here from baiting out heavies when he has the shield up, and also from trying to make sure that he doesn't throw an unblockable special 1 at me. I'm blocking maybe more than I need to for that. But Doom is so tanky and has such high block proficiency, I'm just not worried at all. That one dex there was accidental, but it's okay because he's at 2 bars of power again, so he's not going to throw an unblockable special 1. And we go ahead and throw the special 3. Now we're not going to do our normal Doom cycle here because of power focus 2. We're not going to be able to push him red, but it doesn't matter. I think this might even kill him. Yeah. Doom makes most Korgs kind of a joke. That one was no exception. So next up we have Penny Parker on Power Snack. I have taken this before with Reed. I actually think he's one of the best counters. But the last time that I took this, I did a very poor job of proving that because I ate an entire special 2. I still maintain that Reed is one of the only champions in the game that can actually survive that, especially without truly being Incinerate immune. But it was not great. So, as you can see, we're relying on the House of X pre-fight here to get those passive stuns, because if the stuns are passive, then she can't purify them and then resist the heavy, which is how Penny works. So if you can end up doing passive stuns, then you really don't have to worry about her auto block as long as you hit her just within them. And then notice we also, because the stuns last slightly longer, We were also able to get the first hit of that special 2 in before the stun ended, and so then she didn't block any of it. I'm now hitting into her block a little bit to reduce the shield, but I kind of figured that, you know what, I'm going to be landing enough heavies on her. I'm probably not even going to get the shield down. I'm bypassing the auto block anyway. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to focus on, landing my heavies. So right there, I did intentionally push her over 2 bars of power. I basically figured having the special 2 debuff is just as good at the end of the fight as having the special 1 debuff or passive in terms of me having unique debuffs and getting charges. I know that I can block quite a bit. Again, I have the challenge rating advantage, so Reed has higher block proficiency than if he were a rank 3 relative to Peni. He has more health, he has energy and physical resistance. He reduces the damage of her special 2 on activation by 25%. I know I can block as many of them as I need to. I just need to make sure that I don't try and evade and eat it. And then as you can see, we go ahead and finish it out. 92%. That's how that fight is supposed to go. And it could have even gone better if she had been more willing to throw the special 1s and I had, built additional debuffs, which would have caused me to hit harder and ramp faster. That could have gone better than it did. But even as it was, I will always take losing only 8% health against a scary defender on a mini-boss. Very happy with Reed's performance there. So Purgatory is actually a particularly easy fight for Reed anywhere you can stun, because she gains less power from being hit in the first place. And then your suppression debuff takes it down further. Now I do recommend making sure your parries actually land, so that you don't go for a heavy and instead get hit by one like I did there. But it's fine. Like I said, Reed is quite tanky. But so she's gaining even less power because of your suppression. And then she's supposed to be making up for that with this power gain every time you hit her, but he's reducing that both with the Petrify debuffs and when I stun her via the Petrify Mastery. And so by the time I get all of those debuffs stacked, as you can see, she's gaining nothing here. When she does gain the regen, we're reversing it, but we're doing damage so quickly that she isn't even getting that. This is where we switch to special 1s like we should have with Dragon Man if we had kept control of that to make sure we have more debuffs, but she didn't throw a single special all fight. And that is exactly what I was hoping for when I went into that, because Reed just completely counters her. So Doom versus Kingpin. Doom isn't always the best buffet counter, but he does enough damage if you play him properly that he just overpowers it, and you use his power control to make sure that you don't have to dex too much and let the opponent just heal up. So one big thing with Doom versus Kingpin is you want to bait as many heavies as possible, because each time Kingpin throws one, you get that unstoppable buff, it expires, it triggers Mystic Dispersion. That's most of the power I've gained so far. And see, now we're at the special 3, and here's where I make a mistake, because I should have dexed before throwing this, because Buffet has already stolen my Fury. That's why this special 3 does so little damage. Like, for a Doom special 3, that's nothing. What was that, like 6%? It's pathetic. And then he heals up after it. So we're going to be careful to not do that again. Now, it still puts us in the Doom cycle, so we're staying on top of our power, but not ideal. So note right there, I do actually manage to dex before throwing the special 3, so this one should hit way harder. There we go, that's more what we expect. Still not great though, but we're, like I said, we're staying in the cycle. We're gonna throw this, and I think here is where he gives me a gift. Yeah, he gets close, throws a heavy. No, that's okay. So it wasn't there. So he did manage to dex. We dex to put Buffet on cooldown, throw the special 3 again. He gained quite a bit of health there, because that is the challenge of this node, but we are still winning the race. We've lost barely anything, we're in no danger of timing out, we're doing plenty of damage. Okay, so we've gained a significant chunk of power, but we're nowhere close to a special 3. There it is. He throws a heavy, he throws another heavy, he throws a third heavy in rapid succession, and because we had dexed in the middle of there because of how close to us he threw one of those heavies, Buffet was on cooldown, and we managed to stack the second Fury with the second special 3. Fight's over. Beautiful, love it. I don't use Doom much, but he is effective. So moving on to this small boss, this is the fight that I was nervous for. I have not taken this fight before because in the past we've had a rank 3 or rank 4 SIG 200 Spider-Man 2099 to take it, and he does fantastically here. I know that Tigra can take it, but I am always a little bit nervous because of the existence of Stand Your Ground. I actually had a couple duels where in this opening heavy counter that you're going to see, I got parried because of Stand Your Ground. Because that can happen. And when you eventually get him back up to the wall, now there are things that I do to try and avoid him blocking and just resisting all 3 hits. But Stand Your Ground at maxed is a 50% chance to trigger, and that means it can trigger on all 3 of them, and your heavy can fail to break through. It's a 1 in 8 chance, and I don't like taking those odds. So, using Tigra on the boss always makes me a little bit nervous, but I must have done 30 duels for this. And as you can see, the important thing is you start the fight by backing up, doing a single light to make sure that the heavy connects so that you can break his focus, because you do not want to deal with his falter given how long your specials take. Then you back him up. You can easily heavy counter the special 1. It's extremely safe. You hit into him at the wall, but like I said, because of Stand Your Ground, I actually pause slightly before releasing each of those heavies to try and bait him into charging at me. It doesn't always work, but I found that that dramatically reduces the number of times I have to throw a heavy into a blocking Ebony Maw, and therefore dramatically reduces the number of times that I can get hurt, let's go with that word, by Stand Your Ground. And so that felt quite safe, but I did a lot of work to make sure it felt that safe, and I really tried to iron out all of the spacings. As you saw at the end there, I also let my senses die off. I could have thrown 2 special 1s to get them back, but I decided to play it safe because his health was so low that I knew even without the senses that last special 2 would end it, and it did, and that was quite clean. I will take a solo with that much health left any day. Very happy with how my first war went. Now, us as an alliance, we did not do so great this time. It was a very rough first war. We had 5 full weeks off. This was the first real war with bans up. There are ways to, explain it away or qualify it, but it was just a really bad showing for us. The other alliance didn't do too much better, but they did better. So we did not pull this one out. We are going to try and come back from it. We've talked a lot. I think we've fixed the issues. We've learned a lot. We'll be okay. It's not new that our first war is rough, so we'll just fix it going forward. But there were also a lot of really good things. I think most of the rank 4s that we acquired in the off-season were put to very good use on offense today, except one of them that was banned. There were a lot of very difficult fights against new defenders, including against rank 4 defenders, that went very well. So I'm still very proud of us. We just need to clean up the other stuff. So how did y'all's first war of the season go? Let me know in the comments, and good luck to everyone on the rest of your season. I will catch y'all next time. Until then, thanks for watching, and take care.